Your moisturizer is part of the holy trinity of your cleanser, moisturizer, and SPF, so you just don't want to leave it out of your routine. It belongs in there, okay? Don't forget about it. She's important. Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Skincare Nerds. Can you believe it? We are back in the office filming. It's a miracle we're not in my house anymore. In case you haven't watched Skincare Nerds before, I'm Joanna, and today we're going to be talking about how to moisturize your face properly. Now, I know that seems like very basic information, but trust me, we're going to cover a few interesting things in today's episode. So make sure you subscribe, hit the bell button, and keep watching if you're interested.
Jo, you are a one-take wonder.
I didn't write that down. It just
came to you naturally.
Just came to me naturally. I'm a star, what can I say? Moisturizer, as I mentioned in my beginner's skincare video, which you can watch here, forms part of a well-rounded skincare routine to support the functions of the skin. And in the case of moisturizer, it helps to lock everything in, it supports the skin's barrier, and it also prevents transepidermal water loss, which can lead to things like dehydration, which we don't want to experience. So your moisturizer is actually very important. Now, there is some debate about whether moisturizers are actually necessary. Some people say they're not. I personally could probably get away without one if I had all of my hydrating serums. I could probably get by, but I wouldn't want to because moisturizer for me is amazing for my skin. I've got normal to dry skin and I feel like I really need a moisturizer, and I find it does actually have an impact on my skin when I do use one. So that's why we're going to talk about why you need one for all skin types. I'm talking to you oily skins. Go and watch that beginner skincare video if you haven't watched it already. Now, choosing a moisturizer I think is the most complex part about moisturizing because I feel like a lot of people don't quite know which moisturizer to use for their skin type. So the important thing is to identify your skin type first, and then you can choose a moisturizer texture once you figure that out. So we cover that in the beginner skincare video, which I think I've now mentioned 3 times. So if you haven't gone and watched it, you need to watch that before you watch this. But if you have oily skin, I wouldn't recommend something like an ultra rich cream that's going to feel super heavy and occlusive on the skin. I'd recommend something like a lightweight water gel, for example. Murad have a great moisturizer for oily skins. So moisturizer can be suitable for everybody. You've just got to find the right texture for your skin. So I can't go through every single moisturizer that we range and adore, but some of our most popular moisturizers include The Ordinary's Natural Moisturizing Factors plus HA, which is, I would say, suitable for most skin types. I haven't come across anybody that hates it, so I'm assuming that it is suitable for most people. And then we've got Skinstitute Moisture Defense for normal skin, which I think is pretty self-explanatory. That could probably be suitable for anyone with normal to combo to a little bit dry skin, so anywhere in that kind of spectrum. Then we've got SkinCeuticals Age Interrupter. Now, she is expensive, but she is best for more mature skin types. And then lastly, I can't do a video on moisturizers without mentioning my personal favorite, Aspects Phytostat 9, which I would say is suitable also for most skin types. Again, probably in that slightly dry 2 combination spectrum. So that is a good one to try as well. How many people do I think I've converted? Probably, I'd say 1,000. I reckon I'm confident to say 1,000. Now, I know that's probably not really helpful for me to mention the best-selling moisturizers without going into any further detail, but that is why our customer service team are amazing, because they're actually on call to answer any of your questions about moisturizers. And moisturizers are actually set up in a category on our website so that you can search by skin type and concerns. So that makes it a lot easier to filter it down a little bit more, find out which ones are actually suitable for you, and search it that way. So hopefully that makes it a little bit simpler to search for moisturizers. The ingredients you should look for in moisturizers include antioxidants like vitamin C and E, hyaluronic acid, urea, panthenol, ceramides, glycerin, sodium PCA, AHAs like glycolic and lactic acid, shea butter, jojoba oil, and fatty acids. Now to application. Now, I'm sure that most of you know how to put a moisturizer on your face, but your moisturizer will sit towards the end of your skincare routine, depending on whether you use a facial oil or whether it's daytime you're going to be applying an SPF. So there is a little bit of debate around where to apply a facial oil when you're also using a moisturizer. Some brands still say you should apply it before, and a lot of brands are now saying it should come after your moisturizer. I personally mix my facial oil with my moisturizer so that I don't get that feel of oil on my skin. It all just melts together and then I lather it on. So that's how I do it. If you're applying your moisturizer during the day, that needs to come before your SPF. So when you're applying sunscreen, that is always your last skincare step before you go into any makeup steps. So moisturizer before sunscreen. You don't want to be putting that over the top. So make sure it's your moisturizer, then your sunscreen, and then anything you want to put on your face after that. And if you find you don't like the feel of moisturizer underneath your SPF, you could try a hydrating sunscreen like Ultraviolet Supreme Screen. So Maddie just asked for any basic bitches out there, why do we apply our moisturizer last? One, because of the consistency. So you wouldn't be able to apply your serums over the top of a moisturizer because it just wouldn't, like, it's just not the way science works. And the second reason is because a thicker cream-based product laid over your serums will help to lock all of that goodness in, make sure none of it leaves the skin, and it also keeps all of that beautiful moisture in the skin. So it reduces transepidermal water loss, which we mentioned a little bit earlier. You are welcome, Maddie. It totally depends on the individual moisturizer's formulation, but as a general rule, you probably shouldn't need any more than a 5-cent piece of a moisturizer. Some of them, like Aspects Phytostat 9, actually have like a measured pump. So you should only need 1 pump of that. I did give one to my brother and he was using 3 pumps a day and he went through it in 3 weeks. So don't do that, but you shouldn't need any more than a 5-cent piece to apply onto your face and neck. Now, I prefer to rub my moisturizer in. That's just the way I do it. But if you're someone that experiences pilling, especially if you've tried a few different combinations of products underneath and you can't seem to get it not to pill, try pressing it into the skin instead, like this, instead of rubbing it, and that might help with the pilling. Also, just to touch on day and night moisturizers, because again, Maddie had a little query. The reason that there are day and night moisturizers, generally your night moisturizers will be richer in consistency. They might even have more active ingredients in them and they form kind of like a barrier over the skin. Not all night moisturizers will be like that, but a lot of them will be richer than a daytime moisturizer. And then a lot of the time you'll find SPFs in day moisturizers. Again, not always, but sometimes. Just a side note, the SPF in your moisturizer is probably not going to be enough. So you need a dedicated SPF. Please don't rely on that SPF in the moisturizer, because if you're only applying a 5-cent piece, like we mentioned, that's not enough to cover your face and neck and get the full SPF protection out of that product. That's a very brief explanation of day and night moisturizers. One's a little bit thicker and richer and one is a little bit lighter and may have SPF in it. Honestly, I don't even know if that covered everything about moisturizers, but I'm hoping that that was relatively helpful. So if you have any more questions, you can send them through in the comments below and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. But until next time, make sure you subscribe, hit the bell button, and I'll see you soon. And also in that video, you'll find some of my recommendations by skin type of my favorite moisturizers. The Muride one, I think Aspect's in there. I think I mentioned La Roche-Posay as well.
Think so.
Yeah. Anyway, go and watch it. I don't know how many more times I need to say it. That's the last time I'm going to say it.